What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we need to take a look at the debut of Mistymon in the Digimon trading card game. It's gone been revealed over on the official Twitter today. It's the first time we've seen Mistymon. The question is it actually any good? Well, let's take a gander, shall we? Now, starting off, we've actually got ourselves a Digimon that costs 7 to play normally and 3 to evolve. As a level 5 Digimon, this is fine. It puts it stat-wise directly in line with Magnarangemon, so yes, it is on the higher end of cost of a level 5, but then again, it's on the higher end of power of a level 5. The free cost to evolve is honestly just fairly standard, to be honest with you. That's what pretty much everybody has. So that's looking alright. Stats-wise, we're looking good. What does it do? Well, thank you to Dukbo Jang over on the Facebook group. And when you play this, you may reduce 2 of your opponent's Digimon by 3,000 power. Oh. Yeah, that ain't bad, ladies and gentlemen. That ain't bad. Presumably only till the end of the turn. These skills have always so far been until end of the turn. If it was until the end of the game, it would be flat out broken, but I refuse to believe that's a thing. So you've got to play this normally. You can't evolve up. If you're evolving up, you essentially end up with a vanilla level 5 who costs the same to evolve as basically every other level 5, but doesn't pass on an inheritable skill. I mean, Magnarangemon we mentioned a moment ago, when you evolve from that, you end up with an inheritable skill that when you attack, you remove 1,000 power from one of your opponent's Digimon until end of turn, but you do that every time you attack. But if you play it normally, you're paying 7, and then you are reducing the power of 2 of your opponent's Digimon by 3,000. And the answer here really just comes down to how bold you want to be. Because the fact of the matter is, this is what Yellow does. This is Yellow's thing. Yellow's thing is, oh, hang on a second. Yeah, I can reduce power. And that's what they do. That is pretty much Yellow's thing. Yes, they've got plenty of other stuff that they can do, and that's adorable. But as a general rule, it is lowering power that makes them famous. And if you're playing against a weak deck, this is brilliant. Even if it's not that weak. Let me put this into a little bit of context. Let's say, for argument's sake, your opponent's got level 5 Digimon. As a general rule, level 5 Digimon tend to cap out at about 7,000 power. I'm sure that's not a hard and fast rule that will be kept up till the end of time, but looking through the ones we've seen so far, unless I'm making a silly mistake somewhere, I don't believe we've actually seen a level 5 so far that's had more than 7,000 power. So what you do is you play this, and all of a sudden those level 5s go from 7,000 power down to 4,000 power. What's relevant about that? Well, the relevance of that is that all of a sudden when you attack with Seraphimon, you are reducing the amount of power from one of your opponent's Digimon by, you guessed it, 4,000 power. So one of the things that playing this Digimon does is it brings everybody into Seraphimon range. And that's very, very relevant. Seraphimon is one of my favourite Digimon. I've made no secret of the fact it is my actual full-on favourite from the starter decks. And then you're bringing them into Seraphimon range? Yeah, I'm totally alright with this, ladies and gentlemen. I'm totally alright with this. Because the fact of the matter is, we've got plenty of yellow options here for reducing power. I mean, one of the really cool ones we saw already over in New Evolution was the new Angemon, and when you attack, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 3,000 power for the turn. So why not combine the 2 of these, and all of a sudden we've got minus 6,000 power, which won't get every level 5, but we've seen plenty of level 5s out there that this will get, including, not for nothing, all those blockers that we've seen, like Unimon over in the starter deck, all the blockers, and there was one in each starter deck, they all just so happen to have 6,000 power. Well, look how that worked out, ladies and gentlemen. Because remember, blockers, you can only attack them when they're at rest, but if you attack when they're active, they can make themselves at rest to block your attack. They're blockers, that's kind of the point. That's what they do. That's their whole bag. Well, now, all of a sudden, you attack with Magnarangemon against anyone, reduce power by 3,000, then you drop this to reduce power by 3,000, and oh look, now they've got 6,000 less power, and they are done, ladies and gentlemen. They are done. Of course, we did see Heaven's Charm back in the starter deck. Heaven's Charm is just a 2-cost card that lowers your opponent's Digimon by 2,000 power, which means we are really starting to build this up. I mean, just in the starter deck, we had Seraphimon minus 4,000 power, Magnarangemon Inheritable Skill minus 1,000 power. Obviously, that combines to make 5,000, but what's really cool is they don't have to be directed in the same way. So you can lower 1 by 1,000 power, maybe a Mon, 1,000 power blocker, down with Mon, while then directing the 4,000 in another direction. Then, of course, we've got Heaven's Gate, lowers 1 by 2,000. Now we've got this that lowers 2 by 3,000 each. Then we've got the Magnarangemon that lowers 1 by 3,000. And all of a sudden, we have got an awful lot of options here for just destroying our opponent's Digimon. And because it's not an attack, it can't be blocked. And because it's not an attack, you don't have to direct it towards a resting Digimon. That's what excites me so much about the yellow decks and their lowering power. It's not stoppable, as we've seen at the moment. And look, TCGs change over time. I'm sure as we go through this game, there will be Digimon that are immune to having their power lowered. I am sure that there will be mechanisms to prevent your opponent lowering Digimon's power, or Digimon that, if their power would be lowered to 0, they survive with 1,000 DP left, and then get security attack +2, or something along those lines. But that's a question for the future. As it stands at the moment, lowering power does 2 things. Or I suppose it does 1 thing, but it gets around 2 things. It gets around blocker, and it gets around the requirement that your opponent's Digimon needs to be at resting in order to be able to attack. Which gives your yellow Digimon a way better chance of being able to actually really take advantage of this. And let's not forget, we've got some of those yellow cards that do gain a bonus when you reduce one of your opponent's Digimon down to 0 power. The Patamon that gives you +1 memory, which is rather nice. Or the Digitama Tokamon that gives you an extra 1,000 power. And again, right, we've already seen a couple, and we've not seen that many cards from New Evolution. So we've just seen the starter deck, 10 promos, and some cards from New Evolution. You've got to imagine that over time, more and more cards will be shown off that have these similar kind of effects. And that's a good thing, incidentally, if you want to play yellow. Not such a good thing if you don't. Is this worth playing over other level 5 yellow Digimon? I honestly don't know. I love the play skill, but you've got to pay 7 to activate it. So it turns into a pseudo option card. All of these Digimon with play abilities do. When you play, you lower 2 Digimon by 3,000. And then you've got that Digimon on the field ready to use. And it is a 7,000 power Digimon, and that's awesome. But you've had to pay 7 to use it. Whereas Magnarangemon could potentially do more good, and you can just evolve into it. Or we could go for Angel Woman, who is 1 cheaper, while having the same amount of power. But when you evolve into it, if your security is 3 or less, you get recovery +1, which is a really quite good recovery card, which a lot of people are probably going to want to take advantage of. And that's kind of where I'm going with this. I don't think this is necessarily a bad card, but we've got other really good options for lowering power. It only works when you play it normally, and we've got other level 5 Digimon that I might want to play a little bit more. And I speak as someone who loves the yellow cards and is really defaulting to a yellow deck unless I see something to change my mind as soon as I get my cards and start deck building with New Evolution. So I really do think that this is a great option but it needs to be used properly. The other thing is that lowering by 3,000 power might not work. It might not do anything. Now, if I've got a 10,000 power Seraphimon and I want to take down a 12,000 power War Greymon, then playing this to lower its power by 3,000 so that he's then 9 and I'm now 10 and I do destroy him without being destroyed myself, yes, love that. But how many turns are you going to either play this down to lower Digimon by 3,000 that has no real effect and you've wasted it, or not bothered playing it because you're not going to get any benefit from it, but it's a 7-cost card. How often are you actually going to have this in your hand at the right time with 7 memory ready to spare? Sometimes you will. And on those turns, this card will be phenomenal. But other times you won't, and it's just going to be disappointing. Either way, ladies and gentlemen, I want to hear from you guys. I want to know what you think about this card. I want to know how you're going to use it. So go nuts in the comment section, but be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wossy, where we talk Digimon and a whole bunch of other games. And do please consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some weekly bonus podcasts and all that good stuff. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wossy Plays.